Hi, I'm Matt.
And I'm Dee Dee. We are the hilarious outcome of opposing brains sharing a mutual desire to share knowledge and positive thinking about hemp and cannabis.
We are here to tear down the walls built by Big Pharma and other big companies that seek to keep the human race in fear and divided.
We are here to shatter the myths about hemp and cannabis and change the stigma of this amazing plant. Welcome to Hempin Happiness with the Hemp Queen
And Emperor
podcast. Join us as we venture into this misunderstood and the unknown. Welcome, everybody, to another edition of Hempin Happiness. I'm your host, Dee Dee Taylor, and this is Matthew Dykes.
Indeed.
Yes, indeed. It's a rainy, crappy day today as we're recording this, so I am so ready for spring and sunshine.
But it's warm.
It is warmer. At least it's not snowing.
Warm. I'll take it.
Yeah.
I'll take it.
I still don't like the rain. It makes me sappy.
Makes me sluggish.
Yeah. There's just something about that.
There was this mist coming off the river that looked like something out of a horror movie this morning.
Ew,
at like
really?
5 a.m. Yeah,
That's
I was
creepy.
terrified. I'm like,
that's kind of creepy.
some Gorgon is going to jump out of the river and take my truck.
With how crazy things have been going lately, and nothing would surprise me at this moment. Like nothing would. I'd be like, well, that's par for the course.
Yeah.
I think that sounds about right.
Yeah.
You got aliens raining down on us. Sure, makes sense. Why not?
Why not?
Why not? So anyway, we are just, what are we doing, Matt?
So this episode is going to be a bittersweet one because this will be actually the last podcast of Hempin Happiness as it exists today.
Right. Not that Hempin Happiness is technically going away. I'm still lingering on that. But
okay. Well, first of all, Hempin Happiness is forever.
It is forever. It is forever.
But we all know in the cadence of things and the impermanence of life, everything rises and falls and then rises again. Mm-hmm. And the show as it exists between Dee Dee and I, this will be the last one.
Correct.
Unless I come on in the future as a guest and fly in a space car, and
we could always have you on as a guest for the health aspect of things.
Oh, sure.
Because I always respect your opinion on all that good stuff. I still think you should be.
That's not what she says off camera.
Bullshit.
Oh, hell no. Hell no.
Oh, well, I'm not doing burpees if that's what you mean. Hell no to that. Burpees suck. So we all know burpees suck.
So anyway, I am moving on to some different interests. I will absolutely still be a part of this group. I hope for forever.
Well, you'll always be a customer.
Be a customer and a participant and a supporter. Awesome. Yes. And this has definitely been this has been one of the most educational experiences of my life.
You're welcome.
Yep. I will thank you. I was just about to thank you, but I love that you're thanking yourself. I do. Working with Dee Dee has been absolutely amazing. And watching Dee Dee grow as a businesswoman has been,
thank you.
I can't even express the admiration I feel.
Thank you.
And I'm just happy to have been a participant in it. And I can honestly say I've learned more. Like I felt like I came here to teach, but I learned more in the last 3 years than I did in the previous 10.
Very cool.
So,
that makes me very happy. I'm happy to hear that. Thank you.
Well, you should be.
I am.
So that being said, I thought this might be just a fun little wrap up. I do have a couple takeaways that I'd like to impress upon.
I love those takeaways.
Our I like to wrap it up. Well, things can get askew, and like our conversations, and then it's nice to bring it back. And,
it is. And
remember the big picture. So what are some of your best memories of this podcast, Dee Dee?
Oh, my favorite by far is the ED. the erectile dysfunction podcast, because do you know that I still have people coming in and asking about gummies for their erectile dysfunction. And I'm like, please don't believe all that shit that you're being fed. I get it. You want help with that. Trust me, I can understand. Well, I don't understand all of it, but if I was on the woman's side, I do. But I just hate how those companies take advantage. And I think that was one of my favorite podcasts, to be quite honest with you. And just, we've always been about being honest and having that integrity, where a lot of other companies don't. And they try to pull the wool over people's eyes, and they try to do this crazy marketing that is going to make people think that it helps with certain things, even though we're not supposed to be making claims with it. But then I like it how we've always debunked those kind of myths. I think that has been important.
Yeah.
And I'm still going to continue to do that. We're still going to continue to do that. And I think that was probably one of my favorite podcasts. We've had some zingers on too. I love Alicia.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's my favorite. Which, by the way, this month, which is March,
yes,
but you probably
I just saw that on Facebook. Go ahead.
Is National
Cerebral Palsy Month.
CP month.
Yeah, CP month.
Yeah.
Yep. So she was amazing. Now, as far as inspirational women go, oh my gosh, I'm getting goose pimples now just thinking of her.
Yeah.
She is an incredible woman, and I love that. I love that. So I kind of keep in touch with her on Facebook and see all her pictures of her kiddo, and she's just she's wonderful. So I love that one too.
Yeah. And speaking of incredible women, Dr. Molly, that was a good one.
That was a good one too.
Her COVID experience and the opioid epidemic, and the effects of CBD and things
and
like
how much
that.
it helps. She admitted it.
She admitted it.
I love it when a doctor does that.
What that reminds me of when you're in elementary school and someone says, you love a tree and you want to marry it. And you go, yeah, I want to marry a tree. And they go, oh, she admitted it.
Right.
Tell everyone in the schoolyard.
I mean, but no, I think we've had some really good podcasts. Even the most recent one when we did about statins, I think that was just super important to get that info out there. I had he's more like a colleague. He actually called me and he said, Dee, I stopped taking it just because of your podcast. I'm like, good for you.
Yeah.
I said, but monitor your cholesterol. And he goes, I started feeling like crap. And then I listened to your podcast, and I was like, well, good. I'm glad somebody's out there really listening. And
it's interesting that you bring that up, because we were just before the show, we were talking about, I'm on a new crazy thing where I'm eating vegetables a lot
for breakfast.
So, I'm fucking insane to eat vegetables 6 servings a day.
We're supposed to, right?
Yes.
I mean, that's a lot though.
Everything I'm reading now, because it's actually working. Like, I feel a lot better, and I hate vegetables. First of all, any vegetable, vile weeds of Satan.
I don't think they're that bad. I really like peas.
I am a meat eater.
It sounds stupid, but I love peas.
I do not. Anyway, but I'm getting used to it, and it's making a huge difference in the way I feel, in my health, and everything I'm reading. Most vegetables make a impact on your cholesterol level. So I'm interested to see next time I go in what my cholesterol looks like now that I've done this.
Well, I will listen to your advice on that, because no lie, I've got a doctor's appointment in April, and I've been adding more fruits and more oatmeal to my diet. So
oatmeal's another
oatmeal's
good one.
a really good one. Yeah. So I've been eating that. I don't want to say daily, because I do get bored with it, but I've really been trying to change my diet lately too. Because I'm telling that doc, if you listen, doc, I ain't getting on those damn statins. So I'm like, F this. I'm gonna jump ahead and start working on it now, and just being healthier in general. Me trying to find the time to exercise. I was talking to the husband last night. I'm like, man, I just got to get up, I think, in the mornings and start going. Yep. And that's kind of like at night, if I'm stuck at the store till 7, well, you might as well forget me trying to get to the gym. So I need to get back into that kind of a healthier routine.
Health before wealth.
I mean, yes. because if you don't have your health, it doesn't matter how wealthy you are.
You're not gonna get buried in that Mercedes Benz.
I don't have a Mercedes. Just so you all know, I don't have Mercedes Benz
yet.
Nope. Yet. I don't want a car like that. Waste of money. I will take my little Crosstrek and love it forever.
They're very reliable.
Yeah. Yeah, until you get something breaks down, you got to pay for that.
Yeah, European cars, not so much.
Yeah, not so much. I mean, anyway, as we digress.
All right, so since this is my last episode, and you touched on a few things that I do want to bring up. So one, and this is kind of outside of Dee Dee and I's relationship. This is more just speaking to the general audience and people that have come in who listen to the podcast, that come into the store and ask me questions about, mentoring and things like that, which I may get back into after all this. I may not. I don't know. We'll see what the path lays out for me. But the concept, the start of the path of the concept of being more and doing more it starts with just showing up.
It does.
There are so many people out there listening to a lot of these motivational speakers who are drive 110, baby. Be a lion, chasing the gazelle. And all of that is great and awesome.
Until you wear yourself the fuck out.
Well, it's not just that. It's you when you're talking to people that are starting out at zero and you're preaching to them on an advanced level about how to get to 110, you don't just go 0 to 110 and expect it to work out. And if it does work out, expect it to crash as hard as it rises.
Agreed.
In society today, the hardest thing to do is just show up. And just show up doesn't mean being physically present. It doesn't mean just being on the Zoom call. Just showing up means not having your phone to distract you, being focused on the target, on the objective at hand, be it time with your family, time with your children, time at work. I go down to my son's room when he's got homework and he's got his homework up. He's watching his friend play a video game and he's got his phone on his lap and, to randomly text people. Mm-hmm. And I go downstairs and I'm like, what are you doing? And he's like, what are you talking about? Doing my homework. And I'm like, how are you doing your homework? And I don't want to get into generational because it's more cultural than generational, but culturally in the United States, that's perfectly acceptable right now.
Yeah.
How can you focus and concentrate when you've got three things going on right in front of you? You can't. And I'll give the example when Rockefeller was at his financial zenith, the U.S. government was sure that he was up to some malfeasancy. So they audited the shit out of him. And he was legit. Everything was clean with those laws today. Now, he couldn't get away with stuff he did back then. True. But anyway, just aside. So they asked him, how are you doing this? How can you amass this empire that no one else can build? And his response was, I can concentrate on one thing for 5 minutes. That's all he said. So the U.S. government conducted a test on the average attention span. Do you know what it was? Back then? Which is less than it is now?
No.
15 seconds.
Back then?
Back then. And that was before you had the distractions of blinking lights, iPhone, all of these things. So the average human concentration is seconds. So if you can concentrate and focus on one thing.
THCV.
I love the plug. There's Dee Dee with a good plug.
I mean,
no, but seriously, if you can concentrate and focus on one thing through meditation, through whatever, you will be successful on that one thing. All right.
I actually took it was kind of like a little business type thing. It was called, and I focused on strategic planning because that is hard to do in this industry. You've got all these plates up in the air. You've got legislative issues. I mean, so it's hard to plan. Mm-hmm. And I think I took some really good takeaways from that. And it says for 90 days, you write down the 3 goals that you want to do for the day, whether it's more time with your family. I was going to say something naughty, but I'm not. There's
nothing wrong with that either.
Or, you want to get these specific things done today. Like even if you don't get them done, you have them written down and that's your goal for the day. Mm-hmm. So then you can try and take each goal and just focus your time on each individual goal. And I thought that was a really good takeaway. Well, because I have to-do lists, but they're not the same as goals.
Right. And and that's the thing too, is like, you don't know if you're going to make it. Well, just show up.
Yep.
If you show up, you're 40% of the way there.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you just need to make it through the next 60%. Just show up.
Yep.
You're not confident. Just show up. You don't know if it's going to work. Just show up. Mm-hmm. Just show up, and you will have a substantially higher percentage of succeeding than if you don't show up.
Agreed.
Which will be 0.
And you need to listen to the right side of your brain and not the left. That is where the negative thoughts happen. So I think that also makes a huge difference too. Stop focusing on any of the negative shit and start focusing on the positives. Literally, there's going to be negatives in anything you do. But if you focus on the negatives, then they just keep spiraling and keep going out of control and your brain just like, okay, we're just having the negative Nelly day, right? You literally have to turn your own thought process around and focus on the positives, the right side of your brain.
Well, and the Stoics would say there is no positive and there is no negative. It's just a cadence in the transition,
True.
Which is also kind of the Taoist philosophy as well. That, the maybe story.
I mean, I'm a realist too. I'm not an optimist. I'm not a pessimist. I am very much a realist. So I can see both sides to almost anything and everything, and I will give you the best scenario possible.
Right.
Some people cannot function that way. They are either an optimist or they are either a pessimist. So when I will come in and be like, well, here's this, this, and this, some people, especially the pessimist people, only hear the negative. Do you know what I mean? And they give no 2 thoughts to the positive side of things. Where the pessimist, they only hear the positives and then they take off running. And then you're like, oh, but wait, this could happen too. Right. So you know what I mean? So I think I have a really good balance when it comes to that, probably a little bit more so than other people in my life.
Right. Well, and that's the Stoic philosophy, is recognize what vibration you're in. Are you in a high vibration? Are you in a low vibration? And know that it will change.
It depends on what vibration.
Oh, man.
I mean, sometimes they can,
Dee, this rain has got you all kind of frisky.
Well, I was thinking like more of the Delta 8.
No,
Delta
I know
9.
exactly what you were thinking. And don't sugar, because sex is not has never been the dirty thing on this show.
No, it's not.
You just said your favorite freaking episode was the ED. Now you're going to try to hide your vibrator action? Come on.
Oh, I really wasn't going there.
Come on, high vibration, low vibration. I'm not dumb. Okay, I recognize. Oh, no, you weren't. No, I could tell
take it
by
any
the
damn way
gleam in the eye when the word so vibration left your mouth. Actually, I knew exactly what you were talking about. Sorry, John. That's all Dee.
I mean...
All right.
Oh my Lord!
So let's move on
from that.
My next,
I think I'm turning red.
My next word of wisdom. That's all right. No, never mind.
Never mind. Moving on.
Okay, this is important. The only person that needs to be okay with you is you, and this is important. Okay, because culturally, we are currently in a state where people believe that everyone has to accept them for who and what they are. That is 100% not the case. Okay. No one has to accept you for who you are. Okay. No one. And if you try to force that upon them, it will grow underground like mycelium. Okay. And hate mushrooms will pop up everywhere. Which, if you don't know what mycelium is, it's the underground growth of fungus So if you see a mushroom, assume that there's like a half mile of mycelium underneath it brewing for a bed of mushrooms to flourish.
Mushrooms are pretty good too.
Yes, mushrooms are good too. So you cannot force anyone into accepting you, even if you make it a social obligation. They'll smile at your face and then they'll spit at you behind your back, and it is pointless. Okay, you can encourage people to be more accepting, and you can encourage people to accept you for who you are, but you're not going to get that by any show of force. All right. The Moors occupied Spain for 800 years. So much so that Moorish influence is completely ingrained in the Spanish language. And what we refer to as Spanish architecture is actually Moorish architecture. The day the Moors left, the day the Moors pulled out of Spain, they started eating pork after 800 years. You know why? Because they never accepted. Okay. People will not accept under forced rule, under forcing them to do anything. So if you're going to change anyone, it has to start with you. And if you're searching for acceptance from others, it's only because you cannot come to terms and accept yourself. Okay. You need to look inside yourself, accept yourself for who you are, good and bad. And if you don't like something, change it. But that's not going to come externally. And that's not going to come from anyone else saying, hey, you're cool and you're okay with who you are. Because even if they're telling you that, it's probably not true. It might be true. It might not, but it doesn't matter. If you're okay with yourself, others will eventually be okay with you. If you're not okay with yourself and you force someone to be okay with you, they won't be okay with you. I can promise you that.
I agree. I mean, there's that, yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
I think I just posted something on Facebook about that. Like, I am not everyone's cup of tea, but I'm okay with that. No. I'm not going to change for anybody to be someone that I'm not.
Not everyone is for everyone. Not everyone's supposed to like everyone. Not everyone's supposed to accept everyone. It's the differences about us that make humans who they are.
Right.
And it's really been the juxtaposition between Dee Dee and I and our differences of opinion that have made this podcast interesting and have made our company, a growing enterprise. So we wouldn't get that if one of us just nodded and said, yeah, that's a great idea. I love that. Let's move forward, when the other one thought it was bullshit.
Yep. That's never been me.
It's the wuji. It would be I don't think that there's an English translation for it, but the growth that comes from the collision of the two sides of the yin and the yang, which births creation. So,
for sure.
And it is that opposition that creates growth. As long as it is met with understanding. And again, the understanding starts with you.
Right. And I think if you are able to communicate effectively, and I think a lot of us take some things way out of context, or we don't understand the way a person is coming across. And instead of asking that person, you just automatically assume that they are being a jerk or an ass or what have you, instead of just being like, hey, what do you mean by that?
Yeah, well, and here's the premise of that is it is impossible for someone to offend you. You choose to be offended.
100%
You choose
agree.
to take offense. And if you choose to take offense, that is you choosing to decide your reality construct is superior to another's.
Yes. Same thing with being intimidated.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because I've been told a few times that I'm intimidated. I'm like, how the hell am I intimidating?
Yep.
I think that's on you.
Right.
If you're intimidated by me, that is on you, not on me. Because I've never tried to be intimidating to someone.
Yes. We create our own feelings, and what a lot of the popular philosophy is that is an effort to reinforce our own reality as we've created it in our own minds, because our reality exists within our mind. And our mind commands our reality. So if we feel that reality that we've built that keeps us so warm and snuggly and secure is being compromised, it's our natural instinct to want to fight against it and say, no, we fucking exist so hard. We'll show you.
Yeah.
Because we don't want someone to dismantle our reality. But if you can let enough of that go to at least say, okay, like that's not in my reality construct, but maybe I can accept that, or maybe I should ask why and have a conversation and a dialogue about that, because
I know somebody that needs to listen to this podcast so bad in my head. I would give money to let somebody listen to this. That's yours. Give somebody money to listen to this podcast, because it would be great.
Well, and these are part of the interest that I intend to pursue as I move forward, because I do feel myself. I don't speak of it, but I do feel myself, becoming more committed to my path and the way.
Good.
And it's been good for me.
And I'm going to say it. You got a little off track there for a little while. I was a little worried about you, to be honest with you.
Well, I wouldn't say that it was off track. I would say that it was more of getting on my old track and then recognizing that I was leaving the path that I'd chosen to pursue and choosing the path that was the one that I previously built, that I'd agreed to myself, that I told myself I would not be going back to.
Right.
So
I'm proud of you for that.
Well, I think that we all want to resort and default to what we know. Mm-hmm. And sometimes that's good, but sometimes that's bad, because if you default to what you know, you're not going to grow from that. You might preserve yourself, and sometimes that's necessary.
Yes.
But you're not going to evolve. You're just going to be the same. You're going to be in the same cycle that you are perpetuating. So you don't want to be in a self-perpetuating cycle.
No, and I think besides being kind as much as you possibly can as a human, we're all here to help each other, right? To me, that is the number one thing. That's why we're put on this earth, and not to take advantage of people and not to use them, and to literally help people. That's just, I've always lived by that, always.
Right.
Because I've been burned and hurt and stepped on and a million things. Could I play that victim card? Oh, sure. I've been a victim. Will I let that rule my life? Hell to the no.
And that's important, because that is the difference. You say the word, you say the term victim, but that's not accurate. Okay. In my experience, there's two types of people in this world. There's victims and there's survivors.
Yes.
And if you're a survivor,
you are not a victim.
You're not a victim. Mm-hmm. Everyone in this life, if you live your life, you will be traumatized. You will be abused
in some way or another.
You will suffer.
Yep.
And how you choose to let that suffering impact your life will make the decision of if you are a survivor or a victim. Mm-hmm. And if you are a victim, you're just going to throw your hands up and say, well, life threw me a hard curve, and now I'm going to turn to drugs. Now I'm going to turn to alcohol. Now I'm going to give up. Now I'm going to resign. Or
I'm going to abuse other people I love because they've done it to me.
I'm going to hurt other people the way I was hurt. Mm-hmm. And basically, if you do, and I understand sometimes you need to love people into wholeness, but if you have someone in your life that's a victim and has no intention of changing their status as a victim, you need to get the hell away from them,
right?
Because they're not going to change, and the worst thing they're going to do is pull you into their bullshit. Mm-hmm. And then you become a toxic person to them because you're trying to help, and then they just find you as being toxic. So being kind doesn't mean being nice.
No,
sometimes you have to. The best way to help people is to push them away.
Yep. And
say, you got to figure this out.
I agree with that.
Yeah, because I can't, and that includes family members, close friends. Yep. It's the hardest thing that I think one person can do.
Yeah.
Is walk away from someone that they care about, but you're not going to make a survivor out of a victim by placating them and by nursing them.
I agree.
You're going to create a bigger victim.
A bigger victim. Yep. Where, and being that survivor type person that I have been and always will be, like, it is hard for me too, when someone plays that victim card, for me to be, sensitive, empathetic.
Yeah, I agree.
But I have tons of empathy for so many people and so many different things, and sympathy as well. But when that gets played over and over, it makes me just want to, that just chaps my ass for some reason. Cause I'm like, especially if I know the person, I really know them.
Yeah.
So it's hard for me too. It is. And then I have to look at myself that way. But when that happens, I have to pull back.
Yeah.
I have to pull all the fuck way back.
Well, and also, there's a saying, you can drown in the ocean, you can drown in a toilet bowl. The experience is the same.
That is very true. That is very true.
Yeah.
That's very true. Unfortunately, I've had a lot of friendships and family that I've had to pull back from because nope. I mean, I've had my own, abuse stories. Most people don't know me that way because it's not something I feel like I need to talk about all the time, but you know what? I'm stronger. I survived it, and I will continue to survive anything that life throws at me because, again, I refuse to be a victim.
Yeah.
I just refuse.
Yeah.
So
you can consider yourself fortunate to survive or unfortunate to survive.
Right. And I feel fortunate.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, there's so much about life that is amazing and wonderful, and I'm happy to still be here. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Totally.
I think it's a good thing.
Totally.
And I'm so happy to still do what I love. And yeah, you've taught me a lot, Matt. I mean, there's no question about that. Not as much as he thinks he has, but we'll give him a little credit. And one thing I do want to make sure we tell the listeners, Matt, and you have to say it on the air, so I have a recording of it. You're going to keep supplying me with the honey, right?
Oh, yeah, of course. Yeah.
I mean,
I was actually working the bees yesterday afternoon. It was fun. They're ready. They're ready for spring.
Oh, good. So is everybody else. They're like, I have a list of people wanting his honey. I'm like, he's created
it's all about it's about the wildflower though. Cause most people that
do bees,
that have an apiary or keep bees, keep them in agricultural areas. And you're just going to get agricultural grade honey, which is going to be clover and corn. And
he's got some good honey,
soybean and, but you're missing out on the honeysuckle, the wildflower.
Yep. It is. I tell you what, when I was really sick, was it January? I got really sick.
Yeah.
I was really sick, but I tell you what, the one thing that I swear saved me was my herbal teas and putting some of his honey in it. Like it made such a difference on how I felt in general. And even just with allergies and shit, because I suffer a lot from that. But yeah, whenever I start feeling, I'm like, got my little scoop of honey. So I just want to make sure we had that on the record that he's still going to be my honey supplier. Yeah. So that's pretty important. And I know you love doing it too.
Yeah. Well, it's really helped me reconnect with nature because the best beekeepers are bees.
Oh,
and
yeah.
if you can work as within the colony as a bee, they will kind of accept you as what you're doing as part of the natural order of what they're doing.
Right.
And when you can get on that level, it's pretty freaking cool.
That is very
because they're like, oh, he knows what he's doing. Yeah, get in there and do that, do this. And if you're not in that way, they can definitely fight against you, which I've also had happen.
Right.
And that's not too comely of a situation.
No, you've definitely come in with some.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm like, dude.
Just the face stings. The face stings are the worst. People think the genitals. No, I can get stung in the genitals all day long. It's the face. It's the face.
Okay. I think
the lips, the eyes, and that's what they go for. I've had them fly up my shorts before. Don't get me wrong. It hurts, but it will not, the swelling down there is nothing to the swelling you will suffer in your face. No. Oh yes. But that's not what I'm saying now. That's a different podcast. I'm recording that podcast at 3 a.m. tonight.
Later.
So yeah.
But at least you got balm to put on it, right? You got some hip balm to put on it.
A little bit of, counterclockwise, slow circular motion.
Dude.
All right, I got one more before we get out of here.
All right.
So I got into this industry because CBD definitely changed my life.
Same.
And I wouldn't say THC, though THC is part of it. I would say that cannabinoids and CBD have changed my life. Now, in saying that, it was the first step on my true path to wellness. And a lot of people think because again, culturally, we're of the mindset of you can just take a pill and it'll fix anything and everything. People walk in and think I can just take some CBD and it's going to fix anything and everything. I'm going to sleep better. My life's going to turn around. My kid's going to stop doing drugs. My car is going to run fine. It's going to be sunny every day. And that is bullshit. Okay. It is super easy to come to our store and buy some CBD.
Right.
And that is a great thing. And that is your first step on the path to wellness. But it's the first step. It's a big step, but it's your first step. Mm-hmm. You have a lot of work to do. Okay. You have a lot more stairs to climb if you truly want to experience your authentic self, if you want to truly experience your existence. Is not going to happen with the just take a pill philosophy, even if CBD is that quote unquote pill.
Right. I mean, and you have to give it time to work. You can't expect this overnight miracle and all of a sudden you're sleeping the first night or the second night.
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes this takes a while because it works within your body for what your body needs it for, not necessarily what you want to take it for. Your body is going to choose what it uses the CBD for. But eventually it will help you find your homeostasis. I mean, it is going to bring your body to its optimal level. Can you make your body better? Of course. But that's where you add in the nutrition. That's where you add in the exercising. That's where you add in the meditation. That's where you look internally and fix those things that you need to fix.
Right.
But everyone on this planet should have a cannabinoid-rich diet.
Well, and here's the thing. Yes, the wellness journey, I think, starts with CBD. Mm-hmm. CBD introduces cannabinoids into the body, creates that homeostasis. You know what else creates a homeostasis? A healthy lifestyle.
Yes.
A good, balance between movement and non-movement, mm-hmm. between quote unquote work. And I'm not talking about just work being your financial work. I'm talking work being your exercise, work being your reading, work being your studying, mm-hmm. and recreation. Experiencing all other realities other than the ones that you create for yourself. All very important things. And the reality is, your body creates endocannabinoids that it will release that are very similar to things like THC, all on its own.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, we live in a culture and in a society where we're deprived of a lot of that because mm-hmm. of the way we live, the way we grow our foods, our crops, our farms. A lot of that is pulled from our diet. So we have to reintroduce that.
We do.
But my point is, after that first step, don't stop.
Right.
Keep going.
Yes.
Keep moving forward. Keep growing.
Yep.
And you will find that in addition to the benefits of CBD, you will have all kinds of self-perpetuating, self-growing, wonderful things inside you, both spiritually and physically, that will change your life.
Agreed. I agree with that. Absolutely. And it starts with good quality products.
We agreed on 3 points in one podcast. This truly is the end of days. But I really was
not talking about a vibrator, damn it. I was talking about vibrations, but that's okay.
You're right, Titi. You absolutely were not talking about that. I didn't get that impression from you at all.
Never. Well, Matt, it's been a pleasure. We will definitely have you back on the show because I'm sure people will want to know what your future holds and what you've gotten yourself into, and maybe just seek that manly advice that we all love and crave about you. Mm-hmm. So thank you.
I'm still an alpha, bitch.
Yes. Yes, you are. So we appreciate you and thank you so much for everything.
Yes. And to the audience out there, I love you. The
show will go on.
The people who have come into the store just to chat with me mm-hmm. about subjects on the podcast, I love that. not just the girls, although there were some beautiful women that came in from this podcast.
Man, we have a lot. You know what, though?
The dudes, too, though.
In all seriousness, we have, I mean, even we have amazing customers.
Yeah,
I mean, we really do. That a lot of them have become friends. I mean, huge supporters. Like, there are people that I don't want to get emotional because, you know, it's raining outside. That's usually what happens to me. But I could cry happy tears with how amazing and respectful and kind and supportive. I mean, you talk about me being a leader, like we were kind of talking before this podcast, but you know, I wouldn't be who I am today without all of my amazing customers, and I wouldn't be able to do any freaking thing that I do without my amazing staff. Yeah. And they have been such a good team for me. And even though people come and go and they do their own thing and they grow and all that stuff, and I support them in that too, I've had some with me that have been with me since the beginning. And I would not be who I am without them, and just the support from my friends and my family and strangers. I mean, I've had so many people that are like, oh, I know her. And I'm like, and I'm sorry if I don't remember your name. You know what I mean? But it's just been amazing. It's been such an incredible journey and an incredible ride, and being able to do a podcast. Like, I was like, really? Like, who the hell's going to listen to me and listen to us? And then, you know, we've got some amazing followers, and I don't know that we're necessarily going to stop the podcasting. It might just be me with other people on. I haven't figured that out yet, but, I really appreciate everybody, and we'll continue to offer the amazing products, and we'll still be here in your education source. And, you know, all that's still going forward, y'all. I love what I do, and I love being in this space, and I love being in the cannabis industry. And maybe one day, you never know where the future's going to take me. I'm kind of roll with the flow, or roll with the punches. Go with the flow, whatever.
Go with the flow, roll with the punches.
There you go. That's what I do. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So I'll keep doing it.
Mm-hmm.
So
dance like a butterfly, sting like a bee.
Hell yeah.
Because we are. Well, actually, we're not in Louisville right now. But,
I ain't going to your bees. I don't like bees, and I might be allergic, and I don't want to find out.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But anyway, thank you. And thanks for listening, everybody.
See y'all.
Bye. Thanks for joining us for another episode of Hempin Happiness with the Hemp Queen
and Emperor.
Keep your mind ever open and expanding. Like, subscribe, review, follow us, all the good stuff. And
keep it hempy out there.